I stared at my phone in disbelief, watching my professional life crumble in real time. Posts I never wrote appeared on my social media accounts one after another, each more damaging than the last. False confessions about stealing ideas from colleagues, fabricated stories about manipulating clients, fake screenshots of me bad-mouthing industry leaders. Everything I had built over the past decade was disintegrating before my eyes. "What the hell is happening?" I whispered, my fingers trembling as I tried desperately to delete the posts, only to find I'd been locked out of all my accounts. That's when his message arrived. "Now everyone knows who you really are. Robert, my boss, the man I'd trusted and respected for 6 years, the man whose marketing agency I'd helped build from a struggling startup to an industry leader." I only managed to type one word in response. Interesting. It was 3 days before the prestigious Astra Marketing Awards, where I was nominated for Creative Director of the Year, the nomination that Robert had congratulated me for with a champagne toast just last week, the same nomination he'd been passed over for. 2 hours earlier, I'd been sitting in our weekly creative meeting, watching Robert present my campaign concept to our biggest client as if it were his own. "As I envisioned," he said, clicking through the presentation I'd stayed up until 4 a.m. finalizing, "this campaign pivots away from traditional marketing approaches and speaks directly to the emotional core of the consumer experience. My words, my strategy, my creative direction, the campaign I'd poured my heart into for months." I caught the quick glance he shot my way, a mixture of triumph and warning. I'd seen that look before, but never so blatant. The difference this time was the email I'd received that morning from the client's marketing director, specifically praising my work and asking for a private meeting to discuss a larger project. After the client left, I confronted him in his office. "You need to start giving me proper credit for my work, Robert. This has gone too far." He leaned back in his leather chair, a smile playing at the corner of his lips. "Elena, we're a team. There's no your work or my work here. The client specifically mentioned my name in their email. They know who developed the campaign." His smile vanished. "What email?" "They want to meet with me tomorrow. Alone." I hadn't planned to tell him this way, but his arrogance pushed me over the edge. Maybe it's time we discussed my partnership track again, or maybe I should consider their offer directly. His face hardened. "Be very careful, Elena. You signed a non-compete, which doesn't prevent clients from choosing to work with me if I leave. You know that." I turned to leave, then paused at the door. "I've been loyal to you for 6 years, Robert. I just want the recognition I've earned. You have everything thanks to me," he said quietly. "Don't forget that." I should have recognized the dangerous edge in his voice. "Hide why?" Now, staring at my phone as my professional reputation was systematically destroyed, I understood what he'd done. He must have had my passwords for months, maybe years, waiting, watching, preparing for the moment I might become a threat. My phone buzzed with concerned messages from colleagues, clients, friends in the industry. "Did you get hacked? Are you okay? What's going on?" Then came the other messages. "I'm disappointed in you. I thought you had integrity. We need to rethink our contract." I tried calling Robert, but he didn't answer. I drove to his house, but his wife said he was working late. I returned to the office to find it locked. The security code changed. Sitting in my car in the empty parking lot, the reality of my situation sank in. Robert hadn't just attacked my social media. He'd planned this meticulously. The timing was perfect. 3 days before the awards, too late for me to do damage control before the ceremony. The industry would be buzzing with rumors. The judges would be questioning their decision. I took a deep breath and made a decision. If Robert wanted war, I would give him one. But I wouldn't fight like him, with lies and betrayal. I would fight with truth. The question was, how much truth did I actually have? I drove home and pulled out my laptop. Time to see exactly what I was dealing with. As I expected, Robert had been thorough. Every social media account compromised. Emails sent from my accounts to clients and colleagues containing confidential conversations that never happened. But Robert had made one critical mistake. He'd been so focused on destroying my reputation that he'd forgotten about the digital trail he was leaving. Every action leaves traces, and Robert wasn't nearly as tech-savvy as he thought he was. I opened a drawer and pulled out an external hard drive. My insurance policy. For the past year, I'd been documenting everything. Every campaign I'd created that Robert had taken credit for. Every email where he'd passed my ideas as his own. Every altered document. And most importantly, the original files with metadata that proved I was the creator. I hadn't planned to use any of this. It was just protection, a way to ensure I got credit for my work if things ever went south. I never imagined he'd go this far. As I plugged in the hard drive, a notification appeared on my laptop. An email from the head of the Astra Awards Committee. Due to the concerning allegations that have come to light, we regret to inform you that your nomination is under review. The committee will make a final decision after a thorough investigation. Given the circumstances, we suggest you not attend the ceremony on Friday. My hands curled into fists as I read the email twice more. Robert hadn't just stolen my work and attacked my reputation, he was taking my award too. I opened the hard drive and began sorting through my evidence. What I found sparked an idea so perfect, so fitting, that I actually smiled for the first time since this nightmare began. Robert thought he knew how to destroy someone digitally, but he had no idea what I was capable of. He'd taught me that everyone has secrets, including him, and I had just found his biggest one. My phone lit up with another message from Robert. Withdrawing from the awards would be the dignified choice. Don't embarrass yourself further. I stared at his message, my fingers hovering over the keyboard as a plan formed in my mind. A plan that would require perfect timing, absolute precision, and just a little bit of luck. If it worked, Robert would learn a valuable lesson. Never underestimate a woman with nothing left to lose. I sent back a one-word reply. Noted. Then I got to work because I had exactly 72 hours to execute the most important campaign of my career, my own. I barely slept that night. My mind raced with possibilities while I dug deeper into the files on my hard drive. What I discovered in those early morning hours made my blood run cold. For the past 2 years, Robert hadn't just been stealing my ideas. He'd been systematically embezzling from our largest clients. Small amounts at first, disguised as consulting fees on invoices I never saw. Then larger sums hidden in inflated production costs. The money flowed through shell companies I'd never heard of, all leading back to an offshore account with his name on it. I stared at my screen, the blue light harsh against my tired eyes. This wasn't just unethical business practice. This was criminal. I'd found this trail by accident while looking through backup files of proposals where budget numbers didn't match what I'd originally submitted. At first, I thought they were simple errors. Now, I understood they were deliberate manipulations. "Is this why you were so desperate to silence me?" I whispered to the spreadsheet on my screen. "What were you planning to do when they eventually discovered the missing money? Pin it on me too?" I took a sip of cold coffee and checked the time. 5:47 a.m. 2 days until the award ceremony. I needed to be strategic. My first instinct was to go straight to the police, but I hesitated. Robert was well connected. He played golf with the police commissioner. His brother-in-law worked for the district attorney. And right now, with my reputation in tatters, who would believe me over him? No, I needed leverage first. I needed to regain control of my narrative before I could expose his crimes. My phone buzzed. A text from Sophie, my best friend and the agency's lead copywriter. "Are you okay?" "Everyone's talking. Robert called an emergency staff meeting for 8 a.m. I texted back, "Not okay, but I will be. Can you meet me for coffee at 7? The cafe around the corner from the office. And don't tell anyone." "On my way," she replied instantly. I gathered my evidence, made copies, and secured everything in multiple locations. Then I showered, put on my most professional outfit, and applied makeup to hide the dark circles under my eyes. If I was going to fight back, I needed to look like someone worth believing. "Oh my God, Elena!" Sophie's eyes widened as she slid into the cafe booth across from me. "What the hell is happening? Your social media is a disaster, and Robert is telling everyone you had some kind of breakdown." "Robert hacked my accounts," I said plainly. "He's framing me because I threatened to leave and take clients with me." Sophie's mouth fell open. That's insane. Why would he risk everything just because you might leave? I pushed a folder across the table. Because of this. She opened it and began flipping through the printouts, her expression shifting from confusion to shock. Are these real? Elena, if this is true, he's been stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's real. And I think it's just the tip of the iceberg. She looked up at me, her face pale. What are you going to do? First, I need allies. People who know me well enough to doubt what they're seeing online. You have me, Sophie said without hesitation. And probably Marcos from the design team. He's always said Robert takes credit for your work. Good. I need you both to act normal at the meeting. Don't defend me yet. Just observe who seems genuinely concerned versus who's enjoying my downfall. And I need you to get me something from my desk without anyone noticing. What? My external hard drive. It's taped under the bottom drawer of my desk. Robert doesn't know about it, and it has evidence that can prove the timestamps on all my original designs. Sophie nodded. I'll get it. But what's your actual plan? Are you going to the police? Eventually. But first, I need to handle the awards ceremony. Robert is planning to take my nomination. I won't let that happen. The ceremony is in 2 days, Sophie reminded me. How are you going to clear your name by then? I smiled for the first time since this nightmare began. I'm not going to clear my name. I'm going to make Robert reveal the truth himself. After Sophie left for the office meeting, I drove to a small tech repair shop owned by my cousin's husband, Alex. As a former IT security specialist, he was exactly the person I needed. So let me get this straight, Alex said after I explained the situation. Your boss hacked all your accounts, posted fake confessions and messages in your name, and is trying to steal your award nomination? Yes. And he's been embezzling from our clients. Alex whistled. That's a lot of felonies. What do you need from me? 2 things. First, I need to know exactly how he got access to my accounts. Second, I need a way to send information to someone's phone at a precise moment during the awards ceremony. Alex raised an eyebrow. The first part is easy. Let's run some diagnostics on your devices. The second part, that's more complicated. Who are you trying to send information to? Robert himself. I want to make sure he sees exactly what I want him to see right before he goes on stage to accept my award. A slow smile spread across Alex's face. Now that's the kind of petty revenge I can get behind. Let me see what I can do. For the next several hours, Alex worked his magic while I formulated my plan. By mid-afternoon, we had answers. Your boss installed keylogging software on your work computer about 8 months ago, Alex explained. Probably during that company retreat you mentioned when you left your laptop in your hotel room. Once he had your main passwords, he could access everything else. Can you remove it? Already done. And I've set up new, secure accounts for you on different platforms. He won't be able to touch those. Perfect. What about the message delivery? Alex handed me a small device. This is essentially a timed email trigger. Program it with whatever you want to send, when you want it sent, and to which number. As long as you're within about 50 feet of the target when it activates, it'll work. I took the device, feeling its weight in my palm. Thank you, Alex. I owe you big time. Just promise me I can be there when this all blows up in his face. I promise. Back in my apartment, I carefully compiled my evidence. The original files of all my work with metadata proving I was the creator. Screenshots of communications showing Robert taking credit. And most damning of all, the financial records revealing his embezzlement scheme. I packaged everything into a single devastating presentation. Then I added one final touch, a recording from 6 months ago, when Robert had drunkenly admitted during an office party that he felt threatened by my talent and connections. I'd recorded it as a joke at the time, planning to tease him about it later. Now it would serve a different purpose. My phone buzzed with a message from Sophie. Got your drive. Meeting was ugly. Robert's saying you had a psychotic break and they're considering legal action. Half the team believes him, half are suspicious. Marcos and I are on your side. What's next? I texted back. Meet me tonight. Bring Marcos. I'll explain everything. Another message came through, this one from Robert. Resignation letter by end of day, or we press charges for client data theft. Your choice. I stared at his message. seething with anger, but also feeling a strange sense of calm. Robert thought he held all the cards. He had no idea what was coming. The day of reckoning was approaching. All I needed was to convince a few key allies, finalize my presentation, and make an appearance at the awards ceremony that no one was expecting, especially Robert. I looked at myself in the mirror, straightening my shoulders. "You picked the wrong woman to destroy," I said to my reflection, imagining Robert's face. "And on Friday night, you'll know exactly how it feels to lose everything in front of everyone who matters." My phone rang, a number I didn't recognize. When I answered, the voice on the other end sent a chill down my spine. "Elena, this is Thomas Whitfield, head of the Astra Awards Committee. I think we need to talk about these allegations and about some other concerning information that just came across my desk regarding Robert Bennett." "Mr. Whitfield," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "Thank you for calling. I've been wanting to speak with you." "I imagine so," he replied. His tone was measured, neither accusatory nor sympathetic. "These are serious allegations circulating about you. However, we've also received some conflicting information regarding Mr. Bennett." My heart raced. "What kind of information?" "I'd rather discuss this in person. Can you meet me tomorrow morning at my office, 9 o'clock? "I'll be there," I promised. After hanging up, I paced my apartment, mind whirling. Someone had sent information about Robert to the awards committee. But who? And what exactly did they know? My doorbell rang, interrupting my thoughts. Sophie and Marcos stood outside, both looking nervous. "We weren't followed," Sophie said as I let them in. "But the office is chaos. Robert's on a rampage." Marcos, our quiet but brilliant design lead, spoke up. "He's already reassigned all your clients to other teams. It's like he's erasing you." "Good," I said, surprising them both. "Let him think he's winning." I led them to my dining table, where I'd laid out copies of the evidence I'd gathered. "Before we go any further," I said, "I need to know you understand the risks. Robert won't just come after me. He'll target anyone who helps me." Sophie squeezed my hand. "We know who you are, Elena. We've worked with you for years. Whatever those social media posts say, they're not you." Marcos nodded. "Besides, Robert's been stealing your ideas since I joined. It was only a matter of time before you fought back." Their confidence warmed me. "Thank you. But there's more at stake than stolen credit." I pointed to the financial documents. "Robert's been embezzling from our clients." Their expressions shifted as I explained my discoveries. Sophie gasped at the amounts involved, while Marcos studied the paper trail with growing anger. "That bastard," he finally said. "No wonder he's been so desperate to control the client relationships. No one else could see the real numbers." "Exactly. And now he's panicking because I threatened to meet with clients directly." Sophie looked up from the documents. "So what's the plan? Police?" "Eventually. But first, I need to reclaim my reputation. The awards ceremony is our opportunity." I explained my strategy, how with their help, I could expose Robert at the exact moment he thought he'd won, how we could use his own tactics against him to reveal the truth to the entire industry at once. "It's risky," Marcos said when I finished. "If it backfires, you could look even worse." "I know, but I'm out of options. Robert's already painted me as unstable and dishonest. Fighting that narrative directly won't work. People will just think I'm desperate." I leaned forward. "But if Robert exposes himself, that's different." Sophie nodded slowly. "So we need to set a trap. Make him think he's won completely, then use his victory speech as the moment of revelation." "Exactly. I'm in," Marcos said firmly. "What do you need from us?" I outlined their roles. Sophie would gather information from inside the agency, keeping tabs on Robert's moves. Marcos would help prepare the visual presentation that would be Robert's downfall, and both would spread subtle doubts about the allegations against me, not defending me outright, but raising questions about the timing and Robert's sudden control of my accounts. As they left near midnight, I felt a flicker of hope for the first time in days. I wasn't alone in this fight anymore. A Thomas Whitfield's office was sleek and modern, with awards lining the walls, a testament to his influence in the marketing world. "Ms. Novak," he said, rising to shake my hand. "Thank you for coming. Thank you for agreeing to meet me," I replied, taking the seat he offered. "I assume you have questions about the posts appearing on my accounts." "Actually," he said, folding his hands on his desk, "I'm more interested in knowing if you created these." He slid a folder across to me. Inside were printouts of emails, messages between Robert and various clients showing inflated invoices and special fees directed to companies I'd never heard of. I looked up, stunned. "Where did you get these?" "They were sent anonymously to our committee yesterday, along with a letter claiming Mr. Bennett had hacked your accounts to prevent you from exposing his financial improprieties." Whitfield studied me carefully. "The sender suggested we check the metadata on your award submission to confirm you were the original creator, not Bennett." My mind raced. Someone else knew about Robert's scheme and was trying to help me. But who? "These emails are real," I said slowly. "I discovered similar evidence myself, but I didn't send them to you." Whitfield nodded as if I'd confirmed something. "Ms. Novak, the Astra Awards Committee takes its integrity very seriously. We've already verified the metadata on your submission. The original files were indeed created by you, despite Mr. Bennett submitting them under his supervision." Relief washed over me. "So you know I didn't fake my work." "We know that much, yes. However, these financial allegations are beyond our scope. If true, they're a matter for the authorities." He leaned forward. "What we need to determine is how to handle the awards ceremony tomorrow night. Mr. Bennett has been calling my office hourly, insisting we remove your name entirely and allow him to accept the award on behalf of the agency." I took a deep breath. This was my opportunity. "Mr. Whitfield, I believe Robert Bennett hacked my accounts and posted those fabricated confessions. I have evidence to support this. But rather than fight these allegations publicly before the ceremony, I have a proposal." His eyebrows raised. "I'm listening." "Allow things to proceed as Robert expects. Let him believe he's succeeded in discrediting me. Let him prepare to accept my award. And then give me 5 minutes on stage. Just 5 minutes to present the truth to everyone in that room." Whitfield leaned back, considering. "That's quite a risk, Ms. Novak. For you and for the reputation of our awards. It's a risk I'm willing to take. And if I'm wrong, if I can't prove my case in those 5 minutes, I'll withdraw my nomination permanently and issue a public apology." A long moment passed as he studied me. Finally, he nodded. "Very well. But I want to see your evidence first. All of it." I pulled out my tablet and opened the presentation I'd been preparing. "Here's everything I have." For the next hour, I walked him through Robert's schemes, both the credit theft and the financial fraud. Whitfield asked sharp questions, testing the strength of my evidence. By the end, his expression had hardened. "This is troubling," he said finally. "Far worse than I anticipated. Will you help me?" He stood up and walked to the window, hands clasped behind his back. "The Astra Awards have recognized excellence in marketing for 27 years. In that time, we've never had a scandal of this magnitude." My heart sank. He was going to refuse. But when he turned back, there was a determined glint in his eye. "Which is precisely why we cannot allow such behavior to go unchallenged. Yes, Ms. Novak, you'll have your 5 minutes, but not a second more." "Thank you," I said, relief flooding through me. "There's one more thing you should know." "Yes?" "Someone else is aware of Robert's actions. Someone who sent you those emails." Whitfield nodded. "It appears you have an ally we don't know about, someone with access to sensitive information." As I left his office, that thought troubled me. Who else knew about Robert's schemes? And why hadn't they come forward directly? My phone buzzed with a message from Sophie. "Emergency. Robert's called a press conference for this afternoon. Says he's making a major announcement about the agency and the awards." I froze on the sidewalk. Robert was accelerating his timeline. Whatever he planned to announce, it couldn't be good for me. Another message came through, this one from an unknown number. "Don't panic about the press conference. Everything is proceeding according to plan. Be ready for tomorrow night." I stared at the message, a chill running down my spine. I typed back, "Who is this?" The reply came instantly. "A friend who knows exactly what Robert did to you, and who has been waiting for the perfect moment to bring him down. Check your email in 1 hour for final instructions." I looked around the busy street, suddenly feeling watched. Who was this mysterious ally? And more importantly, could I trust them? Or was this another trap? I sat in my car, staring at my phone, trying to decide whether to trust this mysterious ally. After several minutes of deliberation, I drove to a crowded coffee shop, found a corner table, and opened my laptop. If this was a trap, at least I'd be in public. Exactly 1 hour later, an email arrived from an encrypted address. The subject line read simply, "For your eyes only." Inside was a video file and a short message. Robert's press conference begins at 3 p.m. Whatever he says, do not respond publicly. Watch this video first, then check the attachments. Everything you need is here. I plugged in my earbuds and clicked play. The video began with security footage of our office late at night. The timestamp showed 11:42 p.m., 3 days ago, the night before my social media accounts were hacked. The camera angle captured Robert entering my office, sitting at my computer and plugging in a USB drive. For nearly 40 minutes, he worked methodically, his face illuminated by the blue light of my monitor. My breath caught as I watched him access all my accounts, change passwords, and download private messages. He was thorough, professional, like he'd done this before. The video then cut to another security angle, this one from Robert's office during our confrontation. But unlike my memory of events, this version captured audio. "You need to start giving me proper credit for my work, Robert. This has gone too far. Elena, we're a team. There's no your work or my work here. The client specifically mentioned my name in their email. They know who developed the campaign." "What email?" "They want to meet with me tomorrow. Alone. Maybe it's time we discussed my partnership track again. Or maybe I should consider their offer directly. Be very careful, Elena. You signed a non-compete, which doesn't prevent clients from choosing to work with me if I leave. You know that. I've been loyal to you for 6 years, Robert. I just want the recognition I've earned. You have everything thanks to me. Don't forget that." Then came the part I hadn't heard, what Robert said after I left his office. He picked up his phone and made a call. "James, I need you to accelerate our contingency plan for Elena. She's becoming a problem." "Yes, tonight. I want everything ready to launch by morning. Use everything we've collected. No, I don't care if some of it needs to be fabricated. Just make it convincing." My hands trembled as I stopped the video. This was definitive proof. Robert deliberately orchestrating my downfall, even admitting to fabricating evidence. I checked the attachments. There were dozens of files, screenshots of Robert's emails to this James person, banking records showing payments to a digital security firm, and most damning of all, the complete history of financial fraud going back 3 years. But how had this anonymous source obtained all this? And why help me now? A new message appeared on my screen. "Now you understand what you're dealing with. Robert's press conference will be his attempt to get ahead of any potential exposure. He'll announce your leave of absence and his assumption of your client accounts. Let him talk. Tomorrow, he falls." I typed back, "Who are you? Why are you helping me?" "Someone who's watched Robert destroy others before you. Someone with access and motivation. That's all you need to know for now. Focus on tomorrow." I checked the time, 2:30 p.m. Robert's press conference would begin soon. I called Sophie. "Are you watching the press conference?" I asked. "Marcos and I are in the back of the room now," she whispered. "The place is packed with journalists. Robert looks smug. Whatever he says, don't react. We have new evidence." "What kind of—" "I'll explain later. Just record everything he says." I hung up and opened my laptop, finding a live stream of the event. Robert appeared at the podium right on time, immaculately dressed and wearing an expression of practiced concern. "Thank you all for coming on such short notice," he began. "It's with deep regret that I must address a difficult situation affecting our agency. As some of you may have seen, my colleague Elena Novak has been experiencing personal difficulties that have unfortunately spilled into her professional life." I clenched my fists as he continued his carefully crafted narrative. How he'd mentored me for years. How he'd been increasingly concerned about my behavior. How he'd tried to help me privately, but now had to act to protect our clients and staff. Effective immediately, Elena will be taking an indefinite leave of absence to address her health issues. In the interim, I will personally oversee all her accounts to ensure continuity for our valued clients. Additionally, in light of recent events, I will be representing our agency at tomorrow's Astra Awards ceremony, where our work has been nominated for Creative Direction of the Year. The questions from journalists were softball, clearly arranged in advance. Robert expressed sincere concern for my well-being while systematically dismantling my professional reputation. "I truly hope Elena gets the help she needs," he said in closing, his voice dripping with false sincerity. "Our door will always be open when she's ready to return." I closed the live stream, seething but also strangely calm. Robert thought he'd won completely. His arrogance would be his downfall. My phone rang. "Sophie." "That was disgusting," she said without preamble. "He actually had the nerve to tear up at the end when someone asked if he was worried about you." "Classic narcissist move," I replied. "Where are you now?" "Leaving the venue. Marcos and I can meet you in 30 minutes. "Perfect. There's a lot to discuss before tomorrow." We gathered at Marcos's apartment, which he assured me was free of any surveillance. I shared the video and documents I'd received, watching their expressions shift from shock to outrage. "This is incredible evidence," Marcos said. "But who sent it? Someone inside the company?" "I'm not sure," I admitted. "Whoever it is has access to our security footage and Robert's private communications." "Could it be James?" Sophie suggested. "The person Robert called to help hack your accounts? Maybe he got cold feet?" "Possibly. Or maybe someone in IT noticed unusual activity and investigated." I shook my head. "What matters is that we have what we need for tomorrow." We spent the next several hours refining our plan. With the new evidence, our case against Robert was even stronger than I'd hoped. Marcos revised our presentation while Sophie coordinated with Alex on the technical aspects of our ambush. By evening, we had everything in place. The trap was set. All Robert had to do was walk into it. "Get some rest," I told them as we finished. "Tomorrow will be intense." But as they left, Sophie hesitated at the door. "Elena, are you sure about this? Robert's powerful. Even if we expose him, he could still hurt you." I thought about all I'd lost in the past 3 days. My reputation, my clients, my sense of security. But I'd also gained something valuable. Clarity about who my true allies were, and the strength that comes from fighting for the truth. "I'm sure," I said. "Some risks are worth taking." After they left, I checked my phone one last time. A new message from my anonymous ally. "Everything is in place for tomorrow. Robert's downfall is inevitable, but be prepared. He'll fight back when cornered. Stay strong." I stared at the message, a question forming in my mind that I hadn't considered before. If this person had all this evidence against Robert, why hadn't they used it themselves? Why involve me at all? Unless exposing Robert wasn't their only goal. As I prepared for bed, trying to calm my mind for the challenge ahead, my phone chimed with one final message. "By the way, I've taken the liberty of ensuring your seat at tomorrow's ceremony is directly behind Robert's. When the moment comes, I want you to see his face up close. Sweet dreams, Elena." A chill ran down my spine. Whoever my ally was, their vendetta against Robert seemed even more personal than mine. The night before the awards ceremony, I lay awake wondering, when this was over, would I be free of Robert's shadow? Or was I simply trading one manipulator for another? And most troubling of all, what would this mysterious benefactor expect from me after Robert was gone? The night of the Astra Awards arrived with a flurry of activity. Industry elites in designer outfits streamed into the grand ballroom, air-kissing and networking while photographers captured every moment. I watched from a distance, dressed in a sleek black gown I'd bought specifically for this night, before everything fell apart. "Are you ready?" Sophie asked, appearing beside me in a midnight blue dress. She handed me a glass of champagne, which I accepted but didn't drink. "As ready as I'll ever be," I replied, scanning the crowd. "Is everything in place?" Alex confirmed the system is ready. "Marcos is at the technical booth with the presentation, and..." She nodded toward the entrance. "Robert just arrived." I turned to see him walking in, confident and polished in an expensive suit. He was smiling, shaking hands, playing the role of the accomplished agency leader. My stomach tightened at the sight of him. For a moment, our eyes met across the room. His smile faltered briefly before returning, colder than before. "He didn't expect you to show up," Sophie observed. "That's his first mistake of many tonight," I said. As instructed, I made my way to my assigned seat, directly behind Robert's, as my anonymous ally had arranged. When he spotted me sitting there, his composure slipped momentarily. "Elena," he said, his voice low and threatening. "This is inappropriate. You're supposed to be on leave." I smiled pleasantly. "I wouldn't miss this for the world, Robert. After all, it's my nomination." His jaw tightened. "You're making a scene. People are talking." "Let them talk. I'm just here to support my agency." Before he could respond, the lights dimmed, and Thomas Whitfield took the stage to begin the ceremony. Robert turned away from me, but I could see the tension in his shoulders. The event proceeded with the usual speeches and early awards. I barely heard them, focused entirely on what was to come. My phone vibrated with a message from Marcos. "Ready when you are." Then came the moment we'd been waiting for. Thomas Whitfield returned to the stage, his expression serious. "Our next category is Creative Direction of the Year, which recognizes exceptional vision and innovation in campaign development," he announced. "This year's nominees have all demonstrated remarkable creativity and strategic insight." As he read through the nominations, I felt my heart racing. When he announced my name and the campaign title, a murmur ran through the audience. Those who had seen the social media posts undoubtedly wondering why my nomination hadn't been withdrawn. "And the Astra Award goes to—" Whitfield paused dramatically. "Elena Novak for the Horizon campaign." A confused applause broke out. Robert stiffened in his seat, then quickly rose, straightening his jacket as if preparing to walk to the stage in my place. Whitfield continued. "However, in light of recent circumstances, Mr. Robert Bennett will be accepting this award on behalf of his agency." Robert's smile returned as he made his way to the stage, each step radiating triumph. He shook Whitfield's hand and accepted the crystal trophy, then turned to face the audience. "Thank you all for this tremendous honor," he began, his voice smooth and practiced. "While Elena Novak was indeed the nominated creative director, I must acknowledge that this campaign was truly a team effort, guided by my vision for our agency." As he continued his speech, taking more and more credit for my work, I sent a simple text to Marcos. "Now." Robert was mid-sentence when the screens behind him suddenly changed. Instead of the award graphics, they displayed the security footage of him hacking my computer. He faltered, turning to look at the screens in confusion. The audience began to murmur as the video played, clearly showing Robert accessing my accounts. "There seems to be a technical difficulty," he stammered, looking frantically toward the production booth. But the video continued, now showing his phone call about fabricating evidence against me. The audio played clearly through the venue's speakers. "No, I don't care if some of it needs to be fabricated. Just make it convincing." The murmuring in the audience grew louder. Robert's face paled as he realized what was happening. This is clearly manipulated footage," he protested into the microphone. "Someone is trying to—" The screens changed again, now displaying financial records highlighting the embezzled funds, client invoices with inflated numbers, and transfers to Robert's offshore accounts. Gasps echoed through the ballroom. I watched as Robert's expression transformed from confusion to panic. He reached for his phone, presumably to call for help or to check what was happening. That's when he received my message, the final piece of our plan. I couldn't see his screen, but I knew exactly what appeared there. A simple compilation of all the evidence, along with a note. "The police and FBI Financial Crimes Unit have received copies of everything you're seeing now, as have all our clients." Robert's face drained of color. He looked up from his phone, scanning the crowd frantically until his eyes locked with mine. I held his gaze steadily, then raised my glass in a small toast. Thomas Whitfield stepped forward, taking the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen, in light of what we're seeing, I believe Ms. Novak should speak." "Elena?" As planned, I rose and walked toward the stage. The room had fallen completely silent, hundreds of eyes following my progress. When I reached Robert, he grabbed my arm. "You'll regret this," he hissed. "You have no idea what you're doing." I removed his hand firmly. "Actually, Robert, I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm taking back what's mine." Security personnel approached, responding to a signal from Whitfield. They escorted a protesting Robert away from the stage as I took the microphone. "Thank you, Thomas," I said, my voice steadier than I felt. "I apologize for the unusual circumstances of this evening. What you've just witnessed is evidence of how Robert Bennett hacked my accounts, posted false confessions in my name, and embezzled from our clients, all to prevent me from exposing his fraud." For the next 5 minutes, I explained the situation clearly and concisely, as I had practiced. The audience listened in stunned silence. When I finished, I picked up the award that Robert had left behind. This recognition belongs to the team that actually created the Horizon campaign. And in light of recent revelations, I will be establishing my own agency where creativity and integrity are equally valued. Thank you. The applause started slowly, then built to a thunderous standing ovation. As I left the stage, clients and colleagues approached me, offering support and, in several cases, promises to follow me to my new venture. In the commotion, I almost missed the message that appeared on my phone. "Well done, Elena. Your revenge is complete." But this is just the beginning. It was from my mysterious ally. As I stared at the message, another came through. "Meet me at the bar. It's time we talked face to face." I looked toward the bar area and froze. Standing there, watching me with a slight smile, was Christine Bennett, Robert's wife. Everything suddenly clicked into place. The access to security footage, the detailed financial records, the personal vendetta against Robert. Christine raised her glass to me, her expression a mixture of satisfaction and anticipation. Sophie appeared at my side. "Elena, this is amazing. Everyone's talking about you, and the police just arrived to speak with Robert." "It's not over," I said quietly, my eyes still on Christine. "I think it's actually just beginning." "What do you mean?" "I'll explain later." I handed her my award. "Hold this for me? There's someone I need to speak with." As I made my way through the crowd toward Christine, I realized that tonight's victory had freed me from Robert's shadow, but had perhaps tied me to someone else's agenda. The question now was, what did Christine want in return for her help? And how far was I willing to go to build my new future from the ashes of Robert's deception? Whatever came next, one thing was certain. I would never again let someone else control my narrative. Tonight, I had reclaimed my voice, and I intended to use it. Christine smiled as I approached, raising her glass in a toast. "To new beginnings," she said. "To the truth," I countered, clinking my glass against hers. The real story was just beginning.